In this video, we're going to continue our discussion on working with data, but this one we're going to actually get data. So you can bring in a variety of data files. We're going to bring in a CSV file. You can also bring in a text file. So we'll click on data, and then over on the left-hand side, you should see where it says get data. So you click that. You could also use the icons next to it. So we'll do so from file, and we'll choose from text / CSV. And then it'll bring up a dialog box. We're going to bring in customers. The first screen is going to just show you what the data looks like. This is just a kind of an artifact of the screen, so don't worry about the way that data looks. If you click load, it would just say, hey, going to bring it in the way it is. You don't want to do any changes to it, but we're going to actually use transform data. And got to scooch my window in a little bit here so we can keep it within the screen. There we go. So you can see that we have a variety of columns. The first row is the actual name of the column. So we're going to, under home, in the transform group, you'll see where it says use first row as headers. You'll notice there was no option saying, hey, my data has headers. So just click that, and what it will do is it'll take that first row and it's going to make it the header. So now we have name, address, city, state, zip, phone number, and email. So let's say we don't need phone number. All we need to do is click on it, and under the home, we can do remove columns. You can also right-click the phone and and click remove. And so that'll remove that from the data. Over on the right-hand side, you'll see that everything we do will appear. So if I said, oh no, I didn't really want to do that because there's no undo, I could just click the little X and it'll bring that back. But we actually do want to remove that, so we will remove that. You'll notice that in the name column, there's various spaces. So we're going to click on name, and we're going to use our right mouse button and go down to transform. And we're going to go over here, and you see there's all sorts of different options. We can make everything uppercase, lowercase, capitalize each word. We're just going to do trim. And what trim does is gets rid of extra spaces. Clean will get rid of special characters that really aren't benefiting us. So we'll just do trim. Sometimes you may have to go back and trim a couple of times if it didn't really seem to remove a lot of spacing. At some point, you might just have to do that in the actual once we load it in the worksheet. So now what we want to do is we want to split the name. I want to have a column for first name, and I want to have a column for last name. So let's click on add column. So add column will take whatever we have and we'll add to it. We did some dates and stuff in our various lectures. But what we want is over on the left-hand side, it says column from examples. We're going to click that down arrow, and we're going to do from selection. And so over on the right-hand side, we're going to pull up the person's first name. So we'll type in B-U-T-T-E, and you'll see that there's a little bit of a preview, very similar to when we did the flash fill. All we have to do is hit enter, and it will fill in that that data. So right now I want to have this named, so I'll just double click where it says text before delimiter, and we'll just type in, let's see, that's last name. And we'll click OK. Give it a moment to work. And then I'm going to take this last name and I'm going to scooch it over to the left, and I want it before name. So now I'm going to select the name column, and I'm going to do the same thing under add column, column from examples. We'll pull that down and we'll say from selection. And this time we're going to use the last name, so James. And you'll see that it's at least giving you an example of what it's pulled from. We can hit enter, and then we can call this first name. And then we can click OK. And then we'll just drag that over. And you can see over here in the list, it's doing all of this for us. So now we have first name. Oops, need to move over just one more. We have last name and first name. So now we're going to get rid of name. We don't need that. So we'll just click on it, right click, and remove. So other options, we could split up the address in the same format. Well, not address, city, state, zip. We could do New Orleans, and we could do LA for Louisiana, and the zip code, just by the same method that we did this. So now we've done all the work that we want to do with our data. It's ready to go into the spreadsheet. So we're going to click Home, and we're going to choose all the way over on the left-hand side. It says Close and Load. So click that down arrow, and we want to do Close and Load To. This is going to give us, and I know it's off the side of the screen. Let me move this over a little bit. So right here, Close and Load To. So this is going to allow us to choose a location to put it. So click Close and Load. And this is very important that you don't just hit enter, because by default, it's set for a new worksheet. Well, I want to use it in the existing worksheet, so I'm going to click Existing Worksheet. Now, if I had a title of something in the first column, then I would want to obviously do A2 because it will override. So this is very important. It's a mistake that a lot of people make, is they just hit OK, and then it's like, oh, where's my data? I want it to go on this worksheet. So we'll just click OK and give it a moment. We can close that out. So now it comes in as a table. We now have the ability to sort. So we could sort on last name by clicking this down arrow and tell it to sort, A to Z. If you had separated the city, state, and zip, you could sort by zip or state or however you want to do it. So that's just a little quick overview of getting data and bringing data into a worksheet. And then at this point, we could then play around with the text functions, flash fill, so that we could continue on as we did with the first video. So that is